1. Welcome, everyone, to episode 396 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
Corey.
Just me and Corey today, and we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts 3. We all played this game, but you and me are the only ones, I think, that put in significant amount of time. Will was supposed to send in his thoughts, but I don't think he ended up playing it that much. And I know Eric only played maybe an hour or two. So, yeah, we're the only ones that played it a decent amount. So that's going to be our main topic. Corey, I know you have something you want to tease for later on in the episode.
If you're talking about Civ 6 Gathering Storm, you would be correct.
Yes, I am. I'm excited to hear about that because I've had a hankering to play Civ. I'm trying to decide if I want to get the expansions. I mean, I want to get them. It's just, do I want to get them now is the question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to hear you talk about that. Do you have anything else you want to tease?
Nope.
Okay. The only thing I have to tease is that I started playing Valkyria Chronicles 4. So we'll be talking about that during what I played. And I think I played a little more Wargroove, which I'll talk about. But yeah, Valkyria Chronicles 4 is what I spent most of my time this week playing. So
I'm excited to hear about that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's get right into Kingdom Hearts 3. So first, baseline. This is my first experience with the series. I know of it a little bit, but I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game before. Corey, you played the console ones, right?
I played. They were PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2. Yeah, I think one was PlayStation 2, one was PlayStation 3, I believe.
I don't think so, and
No.
I only say that because I never played them until it. Actually, funny, in college I took writing for video. I've told the story on this podcast years ago, but I took a writing for video games class, and as part of like field studying, our team, we had to come up with like a pitch for a video game. Our team decided to do like an action role-playing game, and Kingdom Hearts was talked about and big in the group, but I had never played it, which was kind of sad for me because I pride myself a gamer, but I hadn't played this game that all these people that weren't gamers had played and loved. So actually, one of the people in my group, she had, I think it was a PlayStation 2, and she had both games. And the time she went home, brought that back for me to play, and I played both of those games, all of them, in like a long weekend. Which kind of sucks because I remember very little of it.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
I mean, yeah, at this point, it was almost 10 years ago, so...
So that's so minimal experience with the series, basically, because it turns out that there's like 11 games or something like that.
Yeah.
And all in random, scattered orders.
Yeah.
We should start off by saying the story is completely nonsensical, too. I think we've tried to decipher what's going on in the story, but none of us were able to figure out what's going on, right? I mean,
I'm pretty sure you need a PhD in Kingdom Heartsology.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave it my best shot. I spent maybe 2 hours reading about it, trying to familiarize myself with it before I had played the game. I've watched at least 2 half-hour-long videos trying to explain the story to me. Will sent me a really quick, succinct one that I actually kind of liked, and I think that one was like 5 minutes. But even so, like, it makes zero sense to me. And I know Kingdom Hearts superfans get upset when you say that, and you know they'll make. I saw the argument being made like, oh, you can't expect to jump into the third Harry Potter book and understand what's going on. And I mean, we could talk about that for hours if you want. Like, you know, is it the responsibility of the game developer to make a game that appeals to everybody? Or for them to make a game that appeals to their fans? I don't really know. I guess that's a bigger philosophical debate. But in my mind, video games are a commercial form of art. They're meant to be mass consumed. And when you create something that doesn't work for everybody, that's fine. But you should also be okay with them judging you accordingly because of it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny too because Will was talking to one of his friends about it. Someone who's very into the series, played if not all the games, most of them, and even he said, yeah, you pretty much just play the games to be in Disney worlds and play as those characters.
Yeah.
Even he said the story doesn't matter. I mean, there's some people that probably have a good idea what's going on. My problem was there was a lot of characters that would just appear that, I mean, I didn't know.
Yeah.
That Sora and Donald and Goofy seemed to know, and I had no idea what context. A lot of times I didn't even know if they were bad guys or good guys because it was hard to tell
Yep.
if this was a good guy or a bad guy. So,
Yep.
yeah. So that's where that is. Also, Corey, I think you were with me in that your initial experience with the game wasn't as good as you continued to play it. Right?
Okay, so it kind of went in waves for me. When I first played it, I hated it.
Yeah.
I was like, this feels like a PlayStation 3 game. I think Eric kind of echoed my sentiment that it felt last gen.
Mm-hmm.
That was up until I got to some of the better crafted worlds.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed. So I hated Olympus.
Uh-huh.
I really enjoyed Tangled.
Uh-huh.
Forget the name of that world.
Yep. Kingdom of
Corona.
Corona, I think is what it was called. Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite one.
Mhm.
A little bit later on, this is towards the end of the game, and I just beat it today. I had beat the Pirates of the Caribbean
That's
world.
the one I just got to.
Yeah,
That's where I am right now. So
that for me would probably be the high point in the
Okay.
game. Some of them fell really flat for me. Monstropolis, I didn't
okay.
enjoy. Arendelle was just okay.
Yeah, that could have been better, I think.
Yeah, and you're right. Like the one thing I enjoy about the Kingdom Hearts games are the Disney storytelling.
Mhm.
But then I kind of found myself like, am I a bit of a hypocrite here? Because if you didn't know those Disney stories, you would have no idea what was going on. Similar to how we don't know what's going on in the Kingdom Hearts side.
Yeah, no, I didn't know the Tangled one. I had never seen that movie.
Same.
So I didn't know what was going on there, but I still ended up really enjoying that world. Like
Yes.
you, it was very cool. It was very, very well
was
done. Very,
adorable.
very pretty. Yeah, it was a neat story that I didn't know. It was a
Yeah.
nice contained story too. Like I didn't feel like I needed to know the characters and what was
Right.
going on to understand.
And that's a point I wanted to bring up, Dan, when you were finishing up our thoughts on the storytelling overall. Is that at a certain point? Oh, I lost my thought now. Oh crap! It was a good one. Anyway, we can move on. I'll think of it. Just give me a second.
Yeah, so like you, when I first started the game, it's very, very cutscene heavy game. I clocked one cutscene at 20 minutes. So there's a lot of that, and when you don't know what's going on in the story, none of it makes any sense to you, and you're just waiting for a Disney character to pop in, like Mickey Mouse is the king or what have you. So that's what you have to hold on to in the beginning of the game, and especially at the beginning of the game, it's very cutscene heavy, and as I said, you don't know what's going on. When I first started the game, I did not like the combat system like you, but once I started to both learn it and unlock new abilities and stuff, I don't love it, but I started to understand it and start to get the hang of it. And once I got to the end of the Olympus world, even though like you, that wasn't one of my favorites, that's when I started to be like, okay, I see what they're going for here, and I do enjoy this game. But then really, I started to really like the game once I got into the Toy Story world. Tito in the chat says he likes the Toy Story world too. That was when I was like, okay, this is awesome. But again, it's not the story. It was just cool for me, having seen the Toy Story movies, to be in Andy's bedroom on the floor, wandering around with the Woody and Buzz and all the characters from Toy Story.
Yeah.
That was what was cool for me. It's more like the spectacle of the game than anything that I like. Like you, I also feel like it's a bit last gen. So there's that, but.
The one exception to the last gen comment, I think, is the Pirates world. That feels current gen.
Yeah.
And I don't know the development. I'd be really curious to figure out how this game was developed. I was going to say, to finish off my point, I don't know the development cycle, if that just came later in the development cycle, so they were able to give it more attention and more modern technical touches. I don't really know, but I also wonder how the relationship is between Square, Enix, and Disney.
Yeah.
That's got to be such a weird, like, knowing how these corporations like to protect their IP. Like, is it Square just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and Disney being like, all right, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. All this has to change. No, we don't approve of that. Like,
Yeah.
and you can kind of see it in the cinematics and stuff too. There's minimal interaction between the Square characters and the Disney characters. And I think a lot of that is just, Disney not wanting to sully their brand.
Outside of Sora.
Right.
Being the main character.
Yep. I mean, there's enough of it, but it just kind of makes me wonder how that relationship works.
Yeah, no, that'd be very interesting to see behind the scenes for that. But yeah, as I started to play the game more, like Tito said, the abilities that you unlock ultimately are pretty cool, and upgrading your weapon, your keyblades, and you get a new keyblade every time you complete a world. So that's cool because they all morph into something else that makes for new and interesting ways to combine abilities. But there's also, and I'm not even sure what causes it to pop up, but there's these like group attacks that you do. There's one where you get in the pirate ship from Disney that goes up and down like this. You spin it around and attack. There's one where you get in a giant carousel and do an attack. There's one where you get in teacups and they fly around and do damage. And then my favorite one is the one where you get in that like roller coaster cart that you shoot blaster bolts out of.
Blaster zone or something.
Yeah, I don't even know what they're called, but it's all stuff from Disney. And that's like I said, that's for me is another thing that I like about the game is the spectacle of it. I have also very much enjoyed most of the boss fights, just because it amps up everything you've learned in the combat system to a whole new level, and combining your abilities, and they're all seem to be pretty epic boss fights that I've had so far. So
yeah, I'm a little bit cooler on the combat than you are.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's a little too easy, and I get that, just up the difficulty if that's your problem. But I don't know, it's just something about wanting to play these games on, I think you used this phrase before, Dan, playing it on the difficulty that they were meant to be experienced.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's what I like to do, and a lot of times upping the difficulty really just makes the computer cheat.
I don't feel like it would work in this game as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried it. I guess I shouldn't judge it until I try it. But it just felt too easy to me, and I found myself basically just mashing A and then hitting Y every now and again.
Yeah.
And I had no problem. So all that customization that goes into the keyblades and equipping abilities and stuff like that, it's all sort of meaningless because it's not necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's probably more of a personal problem. If I was an actual critic, I probably would ding it for that, but I don't know.
Yeah, it is on the easy side. I've only gotten in maybe 2 fights that I had some difficulty with, and there's certain enemies that seem to be able to take advantage of me. And you can get Koopo. Is it Koopo coins?
Koopo coins.
Yep, that revive you once you die. If you have a Koopo coin, you get revived, and you can buy them at the Moogle shops. Which again, it's all very weird combination of like you said, Final Fantasy and Disney. It's strange stuff. But there's also endless side things you can do to complete the game, or to 100% the game. There's the Mickey Mouse icons that you take pictures of.
The lucky emblems.
Lucky emblems. Thank you. That's what I was going for. There's that. There's lots of collectibles. The cooking thing, I actually found myself really enjoying.
Speaking of challenging.
Yeah. So you collect food ingredients, and you have to take them back to the bistro and combine these meals. And you play a little mini game to make the best meal that you can. And you can take meals with you to eat in the game to give you stat boosts. But really, I'm just trying to get my restaurant to be the 5-star restaurant. So I try to perfect all the meal preparation stuff. Like Tito says, it's such a weird game. It's just such a mishmash of different things. And then the one part I really don't like in this game is the whole gummy ship thing. I don't know about you, Corey. Just
like the embarking and
the
traveling.
spacing, the space travel and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that.
I don't get that part. That being said, a lot of people have done some really cool, because you can customize your gummy ship. A lot of people have done some really neat things with it. Really intricate looking gummy ships. People have made wieners too, which of course, if you give someone the opportunity to make a wiener in a video game, they will.
And even if you try to prevent them from doing so, they'll find a way.
They'll find a way. Yes, I saw many wieners posted on the Miiverse thing on the Wii U, despite Nintendo's fairly strict content filters. But yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed the game. I am on the Pirates of the Caribbean thing right now. I'm probably halfway through that. I don't know how much more is left of the game after that. I probably have about 20 hours, I would say.
I have way more than you, which is weird because I haven't really been doing much in the game, side stuff. But I think it's just the Big Hero 6 world.
Okay, which I'm looking forward to because I really like that movie.
Yeah, same. And I think that's it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe
that
not.
sounds about right. I know there was like 8 worlds maybe, or 9. It was something like that, but I knew I wanted to have it beaten ultimately, but it's just harder to get playtime on the Xbox than it is on anything else really. So
yep.
Although my kids have enjoyed watching the game, which is a bonus because of the Disney characters.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
one of the few times they'll all sit on the couch and watch something is when I'm playing Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, and I think we're all in agreement that it's all about the Disney characters. I did want to bring up one thing you said, Dan, though, that it's a mishmash of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel too, but I don't feel like it does any of those things very well.
Right.
And this is coming from somebody who has recently played a lot of Japanese role-playing games, and I would classify Ni no Kuni 2, Dragon Quest 11. What's the other one I played relatively recently? I can't think of it, but all of those games I would say are superior to Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even the review scores, I don't get it. I would honestly put it at like a 7.
7. Yeah, that's a fair score. Yeah, I mean, I'm playing Valkyria Chronicles 4 right now, also a JRPG, and I would definitely put that way above Kingdom Hearts 3. I like Kingdom Hearts 3. I really do. It's just like you said, it's a little bit last gen. It's a little bit jack of all trades, master of none. I'm like I said, I'm there for the spectacle, for the Disney stuff. For the huge explosions and the big boss battles. That's what intrigues me in the game. So
you know how I like to get a little philosophical sometimes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why is it that we enjoy it? Because if a Disney game came out, we would never play it.
Yeah,
if it was just called Disney Adventures or something like that. There's no interest.
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, it's neat that it's like a Final Fantasy Disney crossover. It's neat that Donald and Goofy are your companions and they fight things. And then it's neat that you just bounce around to different Disney worlds. Because there was another Disney game, the Toys game, which I can't think of the name of it. Is it Disney Infinity?
Yeah, that sounds right.
There was that, and I had zero interest in that.
Yeah.
So, one thing I was hoping for in Kingdom Hearts 3 was a Star Wars world.
Right?
Yeah. But that didn't end up happening, unfortunately.
It just, I'm just so fascinated by how that exchange of ideas works between Disney and Square.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody threw out the idea, let's get Star Wars in there.
Oh, sure. But, I mean, if they started developing the game as long ago as they say, it could have been started, 8 years ago before Disney even bought Star Wars?
I mean, how long? I feel like it was like 6 years ago that Disney bought Star Wars.
Was it that long ago?
It feels like it at this point. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
now I'm curious.
I don't remember the exact dates
while we move forward. But how'd you feel about the mini games, the gummy phone games?
I have not played any of those yet. How were they?
So I don't know if you remember the old handheld video games.
Yeah.
where it's like 1 frame per second,
Uh-huh.
and they have like 4 sound effects.
Yeah.
It's all a bunch of those.
Okay.
Some of them are kind of fun though.
Yeah.
It works surprisingly well.
Again, it's another weird thing that they put in the game as a distraction almost, you know.
Disney, October 30th, 2012. Disney announced a deal to acquire Lucasfilm for $4.5 billion.
Okay, so that's 5.5 years ago, almost.
2012.
Oh, that's 7.5 years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Or no, wait,
Yeah.
6.5 years.
Oh right, yeah, 6.5.
Wow.
Math is hard.
Okay. Yeah, I mean they would have had time to put a Star Wars world in if they had really wanted to. But maybe they're just keeping it Disney Pixar, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, when did Big Hero 6 didn't come out that too awful long ago? Although that might have been about 6 years ago. Frozen, 5-6 years ago.
Big Hero 6 came out in 2014.
Okay. Yeah, so there's no reason why, if they wanted to, they couldn't have put a Star Wars world in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but yeah, I like it. Don't love it. Probably after I beat it, I'll be done with it and move on. I've got to get back to Red Dead, actually.
Yeah, I'm at that point in the game where I don't really want to go back and play it because I'm not that interested, but I'm kind of close to beating it, so I might as well just
finish it off
to the finish. And I don't really know what kept me playing. I guess it was after playing the Rapunzel world, like the hope for more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't get it again until the Pirates world.
Okay.
So it was like 6 hours worth of enjoyment and like 22 hours worth of.
Yeah, this is okay.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the Big Hero 6 world is more like open than a lot of the other worlds, so that'll be interesting to see how that all pans out.
Well, that's what I liked about the Pirates world, and without getting too spoilery, like there's a lot of islands that you can explore, and some of them are pretty cool.
Yeah, I've heard it's a little bit Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah.
I've only done one small ship part so far, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right, any other thoughts? Kingdom Hearts 4?
Nah.
Okay. Let's see. Nibblebits. Do you have anything you want to say for Nibblebits?
No.
I got a couple. If I can find my Twitter feed here. Just a couple of quick ones. The first one is that Reggie Fils-Aimé of Nintendo fame announced his retirement today.
I saw that.
So no more My Body is Reggie. Well, I'm sure that'll be around for a while still. But yeah, he's going to retire April 15th.
Good for him.
Yeah. He's going to be replaced by marketing man Doug Bowser.
The Bowser Man.
I thought that was a joke at first.
No, that's a real name.
It's a real name, Doug Bowser. I thought they were making a joke that Bowser was taking, and that his first name was Doug. Like actual Bowser was taking over Nintendo.
I only
hidden first name Doug.
I only remembered from the last time his name was announced in the news.
Okay. Yep. Doug Bowser taking over as president.
It's too bad. Reggie was kind of a character at this point. How old? Does it say how old he was? He seems a little young. Not that I'm complaining. Good for him. Retire as soon as you can.
Yeah, no, I don't see it anywhere. I'm sure it's there. Well, I'll look up Reggie Fils-Aimé age. Just because I'm curious too. He's probably in his mid-50s. But he's probably made a buttload of money.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's impossible for me, but if I could, I would retire at 55. Like.
Yeah, 57.
Or yeah, is that the youngest now?
Yeah, I don't know what
so
the
still
the
get
age is.
your Social Security.
Yeah, he says now we get to hear the same joke for 2 months. Beardless says now we get to hear the same joke for 2 months. Thanks, Reggie.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. So that was the first one. Oh crap! I closed my.
62 is the youngest you can take Social Security.
He probably doesn't need Social Security. I wouldn't think,
Right? No, that's true.
being the president of Nintendo of America. All right. I closed my Twitter thing, so I'm opening it back up. Oh, and then my next one, and I had forgot this even existed, but Valve is removing the Steam's video section. I had forgotten that for a while there you could buy movies on Steam.
I didn't even know you could ever do that.
Yeah, I mean I never thought that was a good idea to begin with. I don't think people are when given the opportunity to sit at your computer and play games. Probably not gonna be watching movies, I wouldn't think, but
I used to love the idea. Didn't Xbox have like a theater mode where you could sit with your friends and watch? Am I making that up?
I think you could do that with Netflix on the Xbox.
I love that idea. I mean, now it's probably not practical because it's kind of weird to like, I don't know, watch something virtually with friends.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I love that idea.
Yeah, I agree. It's neat. Will says, Corey, you are right. That was a thing.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like you could do it on your Xbox through Netflix, maybe.
Yeah, younger me would be all over that.
Movie together. How was your week, Corey?
Oh, man. I feel like I had something I wanted to talk about for my week, but really my week was just work, and over the weekend we house sat for my girlfriend's dad and their dogs, and because of that I didn't really have anything to do, so I brought my laptop and bought Gathering Storm, the Civ 6 expansion, and played it on GeForce Now for about 25 hours over the long weekend.
Nice.
So I mean, my plan was to beat Kingdom Hearts 3, which I easily could have done, but spent too much time playing Civ.
Yeah.
Fell in the Civ wormhole.
Yeah, that happens. That's why I'm afraid to start it up again.
Oh, it's awful. It's an addiction. I played 3 hours before we recorded this episode.
Nice. Did you watch the Frozen 2 trailer yet?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, you gotta watch it. It's so good.
Nope.
I've watched it a couple times since it first came out.
I did though watch The Bachelor last night.
Oh.
I'm not gonna get into it again, but I was trying to figure out what it is that I like about, after our conversation, what it is that I like about it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Will brought up a point about me liking, how did he phrase it? He said I like to validate my perception or something like that. And I started thinking about that, and I think he's onto something. I think part of what I like about it is because you have to see through so many layers to try and anticipate what's going to happen, because not only is it a show about dating, but there's also the whole layer of reality TV baked into that. Mm-hmm. So you have to kind of see through, okay, what do the editors want me to think?
Right.
What is actually happening? And I don't know, I think dating is something that is unique to a viewer to watch people date, because you can see that connection sometimes.
Yeah.
It's visible. Whereas in a lot of these other reality shows, like, people can hide their emotions, but it's hard to hide like chemistry.
Right.
So I think that's why I like it, because I can make some perceptive judgments and then hopefully prove that they're accurate down the road. And so far I've been accurate in this season, so that's a really good feeling. But
yeah. One thing that, talking about reality TV real quick, one thing that Penn Jillette brought up many years ago when he was on Celebrity Apprentice was that the hard part about that sort of thing and being on camera that much is you can only keep up appearances for so long before you get tired of it. Mm-hmm. And that's when, you have your whatever mental breakdowns or whatever, times where you get angry or tired or sad or whatever. And that's kind of what a lot of the reality TV producers are going for, is those moments when you're not able to keep up your airs and keep yourself together,
Yeah, and it's funny because in this last episode of The Bachelor, there was a girl who hadn't exploded at all. She kind of exploded and kind of lost it, and it entirely changed how I felt about her.
Yeah.
And I again, like, challenging my perception, watching her explain this situation to Colton, who is the guy,
Uh,
I'm like, this woman is a sociopath. And I thought she was like tops until she finally blew up,
Sure.
and how she dealt with it was very telling about her
Yeah.
personality. So you're spot on with that.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Corey?
Nah.
Okay. I don't have a lot to talk about for my week. I don't think I saw any movies. What? We're finished getting caught up on our last watch through Game of Thrones before season 8 comes out in April. So we've got I don't know, maybe 20 episodes left, maybe a little fewer than 20. So that's been fun.
I'm sorry, 20 episodes for what?
Left of Game of Thrones till we're caught up again on our most recent watch through. This past week too, for Rookie Camp, I had the wife play Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor, which was a lot of fun. I didn't realize how difficult a game that would be for her to grasp too. There's a lot going on in that game.
Yeah.
Especially for her never having played like an Assassin's Creed game. But yeah, she did pretty well. I think that's everything. Corey, let's talk about what you played.
Well, we should probably talk about Civ 6, The Gathering Storm. Wasn't going to buy it. I thought the $40 price tag was a little too much. We can debate that if you want, but I think $40 for... I forget when that game came out, and for what it added, I still feel like it's too much money. But anyway, I did buy it because of the situation I was in over the weekend. I wanted something to play on GeForce Now. I thought that would be a good one. And I had just recently played the Rising Storm expansion for the first time and really loved it. So I was like, I gotta get this one, and it had reviewed really well. And I meant to call up a list of the features. But the biggest thing are the weather effects and global CO2 levels, global warming, all that kind of stuff. That would be the biggest addition. The other biggest thing is the addition of the Global Congress. When I play Civ, I always start with a random Civ. I make everything random other than the size. I think I set it to 8 civs and 6 cities, or 12 city-states, or however it works out. I don't know. But I set everything to random. I ended up getting the Indians in Gandhi. And I started on pretty much my own continent other than 2 little city-states. So I progressed pretty far in the game before I even met another civilization.
Nice.
So I went for a religious victory, which was easy at first when you're the only civilization around. Like, I was able to establish Hinduism very well on my continent. Things started to get a little hard for me later on in the game, though, and part of the reason was the addition of the global warming stuff, because nobody in my game gave a crap about the environment, including myself. In fact, I think I was the second worst polluter by the time things started to get bad. And what happens is the sea levels rise. And this came shortly after oil became a thing in my world. So I had 3 oil wells. I had one right next to my Civ that was on the coast. And then I was able to go to another continent and build a city on that continent, like way in the north where it's really snowy, but there happened to be 2 oil deposits there. Or oil veins. What do they call them? Oil spots. Anyway. Yeah, so I built that city, bought a bunch of tiles around it so that I could harvest that oil. But shortly after I did, the loyalty in my city fell so low that it rebelled, and one of the civs on that continent took it over. So I lost my one city that was producing me a ton of oil.
Oh, of course.
Which really, really screwed me over, because without that, you can't build a lot of modern-day units. And I also needed stuff to power my buildings. That was a new addition. If you add power to all your districts, like your industrial district, your campus district, all of them, there's further benefits that are added. So I lost all my power and I lost my ability to make units. And basically all I was doing was spamming apostles to try and convert all the cities across the world to my religion to get a religious victory. It hasn't gone so well, but recently, out of the blue, Teddy Roosevelt declared war on me.
Oh,
Wasn't really out of the blue. I was spying on him, but he didn't like it and he declared war on me. But what's cool about the World Congress is that if somebody does that, declares an unwarranted war, then the World Congress can vote on whether they should all go to war against this one civ. And that happened for me. There's a big vote, and I happen to have a ton of diplomatic points, which you can earn by doing various things throughout the game, but I had a bunch of them, so my vote was weighted much more. And I voted that, yes, we should all attack Teddy Roosevelt and
Nice.
save me. And so not all the civs signed on, but 4 of them did. So that was enough to keep him kind of busy and prevent him from utterly destroying me because I had no units to defend myself. So that was pretty handy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really loving Civ 6. It's really hard to put down. And I love the new additions.
can you imagine playing it on the Switch?
I don't know if I'd like the Switch. I like the big screen in front of my face.
Yeah.
Like I like to feel like I'm a general, like sitting in front of his big board and sliding tiles around and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, not to try to talk you into getting an ultra wide, but having an ultra wide is nice for those types of games because it's not too demanding on system resources. So it's just that much like wider and bigger of a screen to view the map on.
Speaking of system resources, I did mention that I had been playing on GE Force Now, and if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's still in beta. I signed up to try the beta and haven't heard back yet.
Oh, really? You haven't
Yeah.
gotten?
Nope. It was a couple weeks ago too. I think when I signed up to get an invitation.
It's kind of a bummer. Oh, some of the other things they added the ability to build canals, so you can build a canal across the continent and put ships through it if you want, which gives you a ton of strategic options. Also, you can build dams because the rivers can flood. You can build tunnels through mountains. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, there's a lot of new advanced technologies and civics. I'm just looking at this list now. There's apparently the Black Death can break out. So there's a little bit more RNG involved, which I kind of like. I remember those old like SimCity games where basically anything could happen and you never really knew. You just had to be prepared.
Yeah.
That's what's fun about it.
Reefer says Canada is added as a civ, and you can do a hockey rink special tile improvement.
Yeah, so there is a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor. I did read somebody posted on Reddit playing the Canadian Civ as a Canadian is utterly unbearable. I never clicked through it, but I'd be curious to see what
they said.
What the criticism is. But there's
Yeah,
some
that's
good
funny.
stuff. Oh, one thing I did right before we recorded was I built a rock band, and they're basically a cultural, almost like a great person.
Okay.
But you can buy them. I bought mine with faith points, and then they travel around and tour.
Nice.
And you send them to other people's cities, and they activate, and then they earn you a bunch of tourism points. And then they either decide whether they want to break up or continue. And if they break up, you lose the unit. If they continue, then they become a more powerful rock band, provide you more tourism, and then you just keep traveling until they eventually decide they want to retire.
Nice.
It's cool. There's a
That
lot
is
of
cool.
really neat touches. It's fun to. I don't think I've ever played like a late. That's not true. I played Civ 4 when all the expansions were out, but like a fully polished, fully complete Civ game is awesome.
Yeah, that is very cool. I'm very, very interested in getting back into it because, man, that game's good.
Yeah, and I'll still say it's hard to justify that $40 price tag right now. I'm sure
Okay.
there will be a Steam summer sale or something.
Yeah, because I don't even have the not Rising Storm. What was the other one? Rise and Fall.
Rise and Fall, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I called it Rising Storm earlier.
Okay, yeah, no, it's Rise and Fall. I don't have that expansion yet either, so I'm gonna try to wait, at least get that one on a sale and go from there. But very interested. Did you play anything else, Corey?
I was just reading Reefer's comments in the chats.
Oh yeah.
Settling cities for oil and Christian rock bands.
Uh-huh.
How American of you, Corey. No, I don't think I played anything else.
Okay.
I did play some games over the weekend? Oh, I played Smash Brothers for the first time in like a month
And
with some nubs.
uh-huh. Oh, so you cleaned house?
Yeah, I don't know. There's not really much to talk about, but it's fun to play against people who think they're really good at a game,
Uh-huh.
and you just like quietly clean up.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that happen.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So for me, I beat Wargroove.
Yay!
Thank you. So I moved on to my next Switch game, which is Valkyria Chronicles 4. And I've since had a hard time tearing myself away from it. It's absolutely amazing. I love it. So apparently this one, I didn't play the ones in between. I played the first Valkyria Chronicles. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is supposedly a lot more like the first one than 2 and 3, which were PSP titles, and I never got a chance to play them. The thing that I think is different from this one, and it's been a few years since I played the first Valkyria Chronicles, but it seems to get more into the story of how your unit was formed and the different personalities that you have inside your unit than the first Valkyria Chronicles, which I really like. Even soldiers that I never thought I'd use have interesting asides that you could take part of. They're called squad stories, and in addition to the main campaign and then there's skirmishes, there's these side stories where a couple characters, like the most recent one, I was three assault troopers that I had that were kind of all loose cannons. So I never ended up using any of them because they would run off on their own, or their abilities just made it so that they didn't work well in a squad. Well, I played through this side story, or was it? Did I say side story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what they're called. With these three assault troopers, and they had to do a mission together to try to learn how to work together as a team. And that changed after I ended up beating that and completing that. It changed their potentials, which are their like quirks that they have for their personalities that give them bonuses or negative effects.
Their feats.
Yeah, exactly. That's
like in D&D.
Yes. It changed them. They're loose cannon or solo soldier ones to being more like team oriented. So now they're a lot easier to use. Like in a group setting. So, aside from that, it's mostly the same type of game, which I really, really like the gameplay of it. It's a very cool strategy game. And, we talked about Wargroove and how there was no like upgrading your units or giving them equipment or that stuff. That stuff's all there in Valkyria Chronicles. Researching weapons, upgrading your troops. And then you can give them individualized equipment or loot that you get from the Imperials, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. And I've always thought the setting was top notch in that game too. It's kind of an anime version of World War II, which is awesome. There's really no other games that I can think of that do anything like that. So I'm very, very impressed with Valkyria Chronicles 4. I have not been able to put it down. So good stuff.
Sounds like I would like it. How much? The only thing I remember a lot about the first game, but one thing I remember that not liking about it is some of the jank that goes on in battles.
Yeah, I haven't had any of that yet.
Okay.
There was one in particular battle in the first Valkyria Chronicles. It might have been like chapter 14 or 16, something like that, where you had to know there was an event that took place in the middle of the battle that you had to know about or otherwise you would get wiped out. So there hasn't been anything like that in this one yet. I'm only through chapter 5 so far, so I'm not sure at this point. Mm-hmm. And Will asked me if there's winter in the game, and not yet, but I believe winter is coming.
Nice.
So, yeah. But yeah, I adore Valkyria Chronicles 4. It's awesome.
You didn't get that on PlayStation, did you?
No, Switch. I got the physical version though, so if you want to borrow it, for me or Will has it too.
Oh yeah, I'll just borrow it from one of you guys.
Yeah. I don't know if I said, but I also bought Starlink Battle for Atlas, for the Switch. which the Switch version has Star Fox as the main character. So that'll be what I play after I get done with Valkyria Chronicles. That was cheap too. That came out in like October and was $75, and I got it for I think 23.
Score?
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Oh, I would probably put Valkyria Chronicles 4 my top 5 favorite games from last year.
Nice.
Yeah, for game of the year, it would be in my top 5, no question.
It's high praise.
It's very high praise. Very good game. And I think that's all I have. I don't believe I played anything else. Nope. So we'll get into feedback, and I know we got 2 pieces of feedback at least. Let's see. I usually like to bring this stuff up on my Chromebook, but I'm watching the Predators game, so.
How are they doing?
They're up 2-0.
Did they have any awkward, healthy scratches?
No. But every time like a player doesn't play, or like this morning it was Victor Arvidsson, wasn't part of the morning skate. People get nervous, but because my wife texted me, she's like, "Oh, Arvidsson's not skating." I'm like, I don't think they're going to trade him. That's not going to make the team better.
Yeah. I heard somebody saying the other day that Tampa Bay is in on Stone and Duchesne. Could you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, Will talked about that a little bit.
Oh, was it? Maybe it was
Pond
you guys
Hockey.
I heard it on. Yeah.
Yeah. Kucherov. Yeah, Kucherov hit 100 points too. So
That's just insane.
that team is so good, so good.
Yeah, but they're gonna lose again in the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see. I was thinking about this because me and Will talked about the masterpiece that is the roster for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I think a lot of it. We talked about this before, but not having state income tax. I think they can sign players to slightly cheaper contracts and spend that much more money on players.
Definitely. It's like it's easy to build a good roster when every player wants to play for your team. That's the biggest point right there, Dan. But also, it's freaking Tampa Bay. Like, it's nice. It's a fun city. I mean, you don't have to. It's not Edmonton in February,
Yeah. Yeah, because Tennessee is the same thing. Like, me and Will were going over some of the contracts the Predators defenseman has. Like, Roman Josi makes $4 million a year. Really?
That's insane.
Yeah, but part of that is, if he was playing for Chicago or, someone like that, like, he would have to make $6 million to make the same amount of money,
Yeah, definitely.
So that's part of it. But anyway, that's an aside. Feedback. So the first one is from Eric Reefer in the Twitch chat, who says, "I really hope Corey is around today." Corey, I don't know if you read this or not, but
I have not. I don't see the feedback anymore.
You're going to be tickled.
All right.
I really hope Corey is around today because we need to talk about Enderall.
Yeah. All right.
The environments, the world building, the characters, the stories, the NPCs, it's all what the Elder Scrolls wishes it could be.
Yeah.
I was beyond skeptical, but I'm so glad Corey mentioned its own Steam release last week. It's just so good. I remember the conversation that Corey had during the 2016 Thummies where he wanted to talk about the story, but he couldn't because he didn't want to spoil it, and I found myself in the exact same boat. Will, Dan, you guys have to play this. Everything just keeps building up, and around every corner there's something that will shock you. I've spent at least 3 hours every day this week playing it. It's the first game in a long time that I've daydreamed about while I'm at work. I just can't wait to get home and get back into it. I know it's only February, but I don't see any other games slated to release this year that could knock this off its current pedestal as my 2019 game of the year.
Music to my ears.
Music to your ears. That's right.
Will still won't play it. I know he won't. You tried it at least.
I did try it. I do want to play it. I played it for a couple hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours. But there was something else going on. Like, there was a lot of games that came out at the same time or something. I had something else that happened that caused me to not play it more.
I don't remember. Maybe it was just busy time. But I think I mistakenly said that you need to have Skyrim downloaded. I don't think you do need to have Skyrim downloaded.
Not for the standalone?
No.
Okay.
No. But yeah, I mean, everything Reefer said is 100% accurate. I'm thinking about playing through it again. Although I can't get it on GE Force now, so I
Right.
guess I could play it on this. But anyway, yeah, like in his point about there being something to surprise you around every corner is so true. I think when I talked about it originally, I said like, oh, I'm just playing a mod. This must be the village in this mod. Like this is really cool. And then you go to like a much bigger village, and you're like, oh wow, they put another one here. This is awesome. And then you get to like a city, and you're like, oh my god, this isn't just a mod. This is a legit video game, like
Right.
full video game. I don't know. And some of the moments in that game will stick with me as like some of my favorite moments in games. Period. One of them being I forget the mansion. Like it's like a haunted mansion almost. It's very eerie when you go in it, and there's a guy there playing a piano, and it's awesome. So good.
Okay. Beardless says it directs you to purchase Skyrim on Enderall's store page. The
Maybe you
original
need to
game, not the special edition.
maybe you need to own it.
You might have to own it.
Maybe.
Okay. He says the original too, not the special edition.
Okay,
Reefer says you have to have it installed.
Okay, so maybe I was right the first time.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I already have it installed anyway. Skyrim's just something I keep on my computer, just because you never know when you want to fire it up. Okay. So thanks, Eric. We'll definitely check that out. I will play it this year.
I'd be
I'll
curious.
say that right now.
I did see Reefer on Steam playing it, and I also saw one of Will's friends playing it. So I'm hoping Will's friend Johnny, I think, has been on the show. I hope Johnny can convince him to play it.
Yeah. Will says he has it downloaded. So.
Good boy, Will.
Next feedback is from Tate, who says, "Sup, fellas. First, I wanted to eat my words real quick because last week I was misinformed about how the Anthem weekend would go and that only PC players would be able to play. That was not true. Xbox users could play if they had EA access, which I did, and figured out I had the 10-hour trial of the full game. So I will humbly accept the fact I was wrong to be mad about that, but I'm still a little mad because that 10 hours was not enough, and I pre-ordered the $80 Legion of Dawn edition. I think that anyone who paid that $80 for pre-order should have gotten unlimited play this last weekend. Yes, first world whiny gamer problems, I know, but it would have been nice to see that $80 go for more than just some skins and armor when it comes out tomorrow. Anyways, the positive of the 10-hour trial was that it was a freaking blast, and it was fun playing with you and Eric, Dan. Even though the connection was screwed, I forgot. I'll talk about Anthem when I get done with this. I forgot I played it over the weekend. Even though the connection was screwed and I got kicked off for half of it, we will play some more maybe this weekend if our gaming times align again. I'll be taking off work tomorrow so I can play Anthem as much as I possibly can, and I am excited about that. My wife and I watched all 3 seasons of a show in the last week that I had recommended to you guys either early last year or back in 2017, but it's called The Last Kingdom, and it is on Netflix. It is a must-watch. You won't be able to stop watching it, I promise. A couple times ago, I think I said I wanted Far Cry 3, but I can't remember if I already told you that. As for this last week, I would like Project Cars. Also, if you have any recommendations for games on Steam that you have seen on sale, let me know. I think that could be even a weekly thing if you have time to take a look and make some recommendations. If not, that's cool too. You guys rock. Taterade out. I'll definitely do that, Tate. That's something I've been wanting to do. Just give people some heads up on some good sales, for the weekend or whatever. And now that I have an Xbox, I can look into those a little bit. Switch too, because there's always good sales in various places. I'll search the Humble store and the Steam store and come up with a few things. So
that'd be good too because of the timing of the release of the show is Friday. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Tune in, figure out what they can play over the weekend.
Over the weekend, yeah. New things. Yeah. So Anthem. I played. I actually got the EA access when I found out that we could, in fact, play for a 10-hour trial in the week leading up. So I signed up for a month of EA access. It was it $5? I think. Not very much. Worth it. So I could play Anthem. I started off as the Colossus, which is the heavy, more melee-focused javelin. And I actually really had a good time with it. As Tate said, I played with Eric for a little bit, and then Tate Tate joined us. We did run into quite a few technical issues, though. We all dropped the game at least once when we were playing. It got booted out. I had one time where I spawned after like a cutscene, like way above the world, and apparently my body was still down in the world because I got shot up and killed. But luckily, once Eric revived me after he fought off some enemies, I was able to come back into the game and actually play and finish up that mission. But that's the one that Tate got kicked out for half of and couldn't get back in time because the loading screens are ridiculously long, like minutes long. And there's a lot of loading screens. That being said, I did have a lot of fun with it. I think we're going to do an Anthem episode next week, most likely, if we can get some time with it this weekend and maybe a little bit next week. I know Eric played his full 10-hour trial. I probably played 3 or 4 hours altogether between the times that I played. So me and Corey split it, and it's active on our account, and I know Eric and Will split it. So hopefully we can do that next week, maybe the week after, at the latest, I would say.
I was just looking. This is 395, so 400 episode 400 is
396. Actually, I got the number wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've done that plenty of times. All right, so we've got 397 will be the 28th, right?
Yeah.
398 will be the 7th. 399 the 14th. Episode 400 will be March 21st.
21st. Yep. So that's when we'll all have to be on for.
Do it a day early on 420. Oh, that's 320.
320.
Maybe that could be the joke.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, let's see. Last Kingdom. You seem to know about that, Corey.
Yeah, I talked about that on the show as well, and I think I highly recommended it to you, Dan.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember when I was talking a lot about like British medieval history?
Yep.
That's where a lot of that came from, was that show. I absolutely loved the first season. The second season was kind of difficult to get through, but the third season was, I thought, really good.
Okay.
Again. So, highly recommend it, especially if you're a history nerd. It's not 100% historically accurate, but a lot of the names in all of the places are.
Uh-huh.
So,
Cool.
pretty good stuff. If you're familiar with the show Vikings,
yep,
it's kind of a similar.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe after Game of Thrones is done and I'm sad and depressed, we'll need something else to watch.
Yeah, and it's like it's not half of what Game of Thrones is, but I mean Game of Thrones is just on another level.
It's its own thing, really.
Yeah, it's still a really good show, Last Kingdom.
Did we cover the Game Pass stuff? Is that the Nintendo thing?
Must be.
So we could talk about it real quick before we do the game giveaway. Though there's a rumor that's been going around. I read about a little bit about it today, that Game Pass is going to be available on the Nintendo Switch. Don't know how true that is, but I've seen it a lot of different places. What do you think about that, Corey?
I'm not surprised.
Uh-huh.
Only because I think around the time I stopped doing the podcast regularly, we were talking a lot about Xbox/Microsoft's future as a service more so than a console.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think they're going to do consoles anymore, but I do think they're in a good position to make these kind of deals with companies like Nintendo in order to compete with PlayStation.
Yeah, I think that does good for both of the companies too. You know, it gives Nintendo that much more of a library, a third-party library to have on their system, and you know, it gives Xbox, you know, potentially, I don't know how much crossover there is, but you know, was there 25 million Switches in the wild? You know, if half of those subscribed to the Game Pass that weren't initially subscribed, you know, that's pretty good revenue stream.
Yeah.
So.
And it keeps nobody's buying Xboxes, but it keeps their brand present.
Yeah.
Very savvy. It's almost like they're fighting a different game at this point, you know?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Not even trying to move systems.
So yeah, That's that. As I said, that's just a rumor. No, nothing confirmed on that yet, but it's interesting. I actually thought Steam would be the one to partner up with Nintendo and put the Steam Link app on their system. I think that would be a nice fit too.
Yeah,
maybe
definitely.
both of them. Who knows?
Hey, let's put GeForce Now on there.
Exactly. So yeah, there's that game giveaway. Let's see. I have to do this on the computer. All right. So we have. Will says, "You guys remember how people said Nintendo should stop with hardware?"
People always say that.
Yeah. It's because they don't want to spend the money. They just want Nintendo to make games so they don't have to spend money on Nintendo system.
Hey, I'd be okay with that.
I wouldn't.
If Nintendo just put... Well, that's true, because the Switch is pretty special.
Yeah, that's how I can play video games, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if we had this conversation in the Wii U days, I'd be like, yeah, just put your games on Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah. Okay, so 1 is Reefer, 2 is Tate. Let me bring up my random number generator on my phone here. Okay. Between 1, 2, 2. Not 20. Okay. All right, so the winner is 1. So that was Reefer. So
Yay!
Reefer.
Well deserved. That's karma. That's what happens when you play after all.
Yeah, I'm behind on the games. I'm gonna send them out. Maybe I'll do that now, like when we finish the episode. Okay. So your first game is between 1 and 150. There's quite a few blanks in there, but we'll re-roll if you get a blank. So the first one is 15, which is Men of War Assault Squad Game of the Year.
Don't know anything about that one.
15. Don't
we
know
just,
that one.
Can you just start calling it like our pile of junk? Like free game from our pile of junk.
There's some good ones in there, though.
Yeah, there is.
33 is Black Mesa.
If we're characterizing the pile, it's junk.
It's mostly junk, yes. 66 is Train Valley. Not a good start here. 5 is The Secret World, which I don't even think that's still active anymore. Didn't that shut down? That's the MMORPG.
That code could be worth hundreds of dollars.
I'm going to re-roll that one only because I'm not sure if that game is still active. 129 is Joe Danger 2, the movie.
That one's okay.
And 56 is Gone. 108. Rhyme Berta.
I think that game's pretty good. I don't really know anything about it.
I thought you played that one. No, isn't that like a...
Am I thinking of Rhymed Risa? Rhymed...
I don't know what I'm thinking of.
What's that game called?
Alright, so your choices are...
Rhymed Risa.
Men of War Assault Squad Game of the Year. 33 Black Mesa. 66 Train Valley. 129 Joe Danger 2 the movie. And 108 Rhyme Berta. So those are your choices for your game. Next week we're probably going to be doing Anthem, right? Corey, you going to get Anthem time this weekend?
I really don't know. If I get enough, I'll join you guys. If not, don't worry about me.
Okay. Will, are you going to get Anthem time in this weekend? Hopefully. But if we don't do that next week, we'll do it the week after. We'll have an episode for you. Will says is gonna play some Anthem. So, yeah, that's everything for episode 356 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
I'm Corey.
Thanks for listening, and get out of my basement. Dunsky.
It's Saber's lightning game's getting feisty.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Boy.
Ristolainen laid out Kucherov after the play, and Kucherov got up. So Ristolainen dropped the gloves.
Is Ristolainen getting penalty minutes?
He's getting at least 5.
Nice.
I mean, he took his gloves off, right? That's like a guaranteed.
Let's see.
5 minutes.
It only says 2 right now, but.
Oh, maybe they just gave him roughing.
I would like the 5 penalty minutes.
Definitely dropped him. Not much of a fight though. Kucherov didn't drop him.
I'm playing Lupica this week.
Oh, boy.
I want to stay in the playoffs, so I don't want to lose.
I know, and I'm playing the guy in 6th place.
Oh, really? Is this the last week of the regular season?
I think there's 2 more after this.
Oh, I thought we were
There's
closer
still
to
a
that.
few. Could be wrong. Let me check. I need points. I'm in 7th. Dang.
Oh, King scored. All right. Those in the chat, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. We'll keep you posted on what we're doing for the episode. It'll go on Facebook. No one ever sees our Facebook posts. I'm not sure why. And then I always forget to post on Twitter. But probably less than a quarter of our people that follow the Thumbstick Athletes or like the Thumbstick Athletes on Facebook see our posts.
That's normal.
I know, but it's stupid.
Yeah, because they want you to pay for
Boosting.
advertising.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
No.
Not a chance.
No.
And like I said, I always forget to post it on Twitter. So, but yeah, we'll be back on Thursday next week. I'm actually thinking one of these weekends we'll stream Rookie Camp live. I want to start doing that, and then I'm working on a video series that I want, or a streaming / YouTube series that I'm going to do myself. But I'm trying to iron out the details for it. So,
Can you give us a tease?
yeah. So I want to play game franchises, complete game franchises. And it all started with me wanting to play the Mario games again, all the Mario games, all the platformers.
Yeah.
But I need to come up with a name for it, because I'll play Mario 2, Mario 3, Mario World, but not the offshoots. I would skip Mario RPG, I would skip Paper Mario, and those, and just do the platformers. Then Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, the New Super Mario Brothers Wii, New Super Mario Brothers Wii U, Super Mario 3D World, Mario Odyssey, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2.
It's a lot of Marios.
It is, but again, like I said, I want to go through entire franchises of games. So it would be Mass Effect I would get to eventually, and stream it for a few hours and then put them up on YouTube. And I'm thinking Tuesday nights I might do that. But again, I've got to iron out all the details for it and whatnot.
You got to get those 24-hour streams going, Dan. That's how you make the big bucks on Twitch.
Yeah, I don't know if I could consistently do 24-hour streams.
Yeah, no way.
We have to do Extra Life this year too.
Yeah, we didn't do it last year, did we?
No, because we were getting ready to move and stuff. So
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
yeah, so we should do it as a team this year too, instead of having separate days. And then if someone needs to take a break for a while or whatever, so there are people covering.
Oh no.
Well, I would be on the whole time.
I can last 24 hours for the kids.
Yeah, so can I. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.